Hey, and welcome to Jim Sells the Suncoast. Today, I'm thrilled to have Dan Wenstrom here from Catalina by Webb, talking about the whole community going in over there. So, welcome, Dan. I'm so glad you could be here.
Hey, thanks, Jim. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners.
Fantastic. So, tell me a little bit about you and your role with the builder and how you got started in this community.
That sounds great. I'll give you my me in a minute. That's something we do at Pulte Homes. Everybody does
Yeah.
we have a little elevator pitch. Okay, so my me in a minute goes something like this. My name is Dan Wenstrom. I'm originally from Minnesota. High school football and basketball coach there for 12 to 15 years, depending on the sport. Absolutely loved the opportunity to mentor young kids and get to know them and their families and that sort of thing. Meant a lot to me. My wife and I have 5 kids between us, ages between 25 and 29. 4 of them still back in Minnesota. The youngest one followed us down here to Florida and actually works for a competitor of ours. So, every once in a while I get somebody that says, "Hey, Wenstrom, I've seen that name before," and I'm thinking, "Nah, don't listen to that kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about."
Yeah.
So, but I moved down here about 5 years ago, Jim. I think August 6th is my hire date with Pulte Homes of 21.
Okay.
And reason we moved down here is it does not snow here. And if it does ever snow in Sarasota, you're going to have to find me further south. Maybe I'm in that Cape Coral and snows in Cape Coral. I'll be down in Bonita Springs. So, favorite thing about working for Pulte is just the culture and the quality of build of the homes that we do, that we build. My folks own a little lumber yard in our hometown, 1,000 people in the hometown. And so kind of grew up in that industry and saw the quality of the build and the things that go into the little things that make a difference in a house. And so
Mhm.
thrilled to be working with Pulte Homes and love the Del Webb Catalina community. So that's my me in a minute.
All right. You know what? We've been knock on wood, no snow for a while. Last time
Yeah,
it snowed was Christmas of '89, I remember. And
yeah,
we stopped everything because holy cow. So I think
right.
you're safe. I think you're safe with no snow for a little bit.
That's
But
awesome.
give me the elevator pitch now for the community. What makes it unique and why would somebody put it on their list?
Yeah, so I think I'll tell you the reason people are moving to Catalina. There's a few things. First is the quality build. Hurricane windows are standard here in this community. I mean, a lot of homes, you can put up the shutters, but
Mhm.
a lot of our homeowners, Jim, are they're doing a lot of traveling. If they're not snowbirds, they love to travel. Okay, this is a 55
Right.
plus, and how that works is this. A lot of people have questions on how that works. One person in the home needs to be at least 55. Typically, we can have 20% of the people under the age of 55 can live in this community. So if you had two 54-year-olds or two 51-year-olds, they could certainly buy a home
Mhm.
here because eventually they'll reach that magic 55. 19 and under cannot live here because we pay a little
Okay.
lower portion of the school tax. The school buses do not have to service the community. Okay. But 20-year-old, we've got a couple of 21, 22-year-old nursing students living with their folks here. So they can live here. So that's just fine. And can kids visit? Of course they can. They can visit for up to 90
Sure.
days in a calendar year. So, grandma and grandpa have their kids down, that's just fine. We're very kid friendly. 14 and under just have to be accompanied by an adult at a pool. Okay.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
Going back to other things about the community, the quality of build with the hurricane shutters or not having to have the hurricane shutters. Hurricane windows are standard. Gutters all the way around the house are standard. Tile roofs, and this is one of the most important things in my mind, are cement tile roofs are standard in this community. Asphalt shingles work fine in Minnesota, where I'm from, up the Northeast and other
Mhm.
parts of the country. But the sun beats down and then that wind starts howling. They get a little brittle, and all of a sudden your roof's in your neighbor's yard, and your neighbor's roof's in your yard, and your insurance company hates you. So that
Right.
tile roof is a big deal for us, and but then it's the overall quality of the lifestyle that people are looking for, and that's what people are moving to Del Webb Catalina. Got a bunch of people. I would say 20 to 25% of that. This is I think it's interesting. I don't know if you guys find this interesting or not, but 20% of the people that are moving into Del Webb Catalina are moving in from other communities in Lakewood Ranch. They love Lakewood Ranch, but they're looking for
Right.
that different lifestyle. And I'll give you a quick little story about when this was my experience when I moved to Florida. My folks have a house in another community here in Lakewood Ranch, and so we were living in their house. They're snowbirds, and while our home was being built in the original Del Webb, and love my neighbors, still communicate with them, but I would always try and find. I'd say, hey, let's go have dinner after work Friday night, or what are you guys doing this weekend? And we'd all try and make plans. I'd say, hey, Isabel's got her soccer tournament. I'll call you as soon as we get home, or Jake's got a basketball tournament. I'll call you as soon as we get home. And that call never happened, Jim. And it wasn't that they were standing us up. It was, I would see them the next day and they'd say, hey, the Johnsons were having a pool party. We found out at the game, so we all went over there, or we all went to the beach, or we stayed at the park. Different things like that. Because I'm not following my kids around at those sporting events anymore. I'm not part of that group. And so it's hard to meet new people when you're just not following your kids around to sporting events. I mean, my best friends, Jim, in Minnesota are my kids' friends' parents. That's still the way it is. So when you move into the Del Webb, so I told my wife, I said, if this doesn't change when we move into the community, I said, I don't know if I want to stay here. But what happened is we closed on our house on a Tuesday, and I took 3 days off to move our stuff over. Mm-hmm. And I was in my garage, and I was up on a ladder hanging some racks up, and my wife's undoing the totes and stuff like that, and I'm throwing them up on the shelves. And I'm getting off my ladder, I had my garage door open, and I got off my ladder. I turned around, and there's this lady standing in my garage. And I said, oh, well, hi, how are you? And she said, well, you must be the new people. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm Dan. My wife Tammy's inside. And she said, well, I'm Donna. And she had this big, grouping of papers in her hand. And she shoved one in my chest and said, I'm having a party on Saturday night. Bring a dessert. And turned around and started walking back out of my garage. And now, Jim, I've been waiting for any sort of invite anywhere for a Saturday night. I didn't care what. If Donna was the Grim Reaper, I'd have gone. I just told Tammy, we're going. This is where we're going. Well, so I told her, I tried to grab. I said, hey, Donna, now she's halfway down my driveway, and she turned around. I said, hey, what? Hold on. I want you to meet my wife Tammy. Let me grab her. And she just hollered from the end of my driveway and said, I'll see her on Saturday, and just kept walking. And so we went, met a whole bunch of people that we never would have met, probably 30, 40 people at Donna's house. And a bunch of guys and I set up a poker night. So we play poker third Thursday of every month. My wife went walking with 3 ladies that she'd never met before. The next morning, started playing mahjong. We're playing pickleball. We're doing all these things. I mean, we were just off and running with a great group of friends. And so the Del Webb, the 55 plus, we're not all going to be the same age, but we're all available. And that's what makes this lifestyle different. Okay. I mean, we've got the amenities that we're building here are second to none. 37,000 square foot clubhouse, saunas, and covered pickleball. There's 8 covered pickleball courts, 12 total, 5 tennis, hard true surface on that. So it's a little easier on your joints. 4 bocce ball. There's a golf simulator. There's a bar restaurant, of course, and that's a big thing to me. That's a couple of the folks that my first 3 sales in the new Del Webb moved over from another 55 plus here in Lakewood Ranch. And I asked them, I said, one of my first questions whenever somebody's coming into our store, I say, what's got you thinking about a move? And they said, we want the bar restaurant. And I said, well, tell me about that. Yeah. I hadn't thought anything about it, frankly. I didn't know. And they said, we go and we have a gym and we have a pool, but we never meet anybody there. We want to be, we've got friends in communities with restaurants that know everybody, and they go to bingo, they go to karaoke, and they go to trivia and all these different things. There's happy hours. And so that they said, that's the lifestyle that we're looking for. And it's go up, meet new people, and just that social interaction. And so it's really kind of clicked off with me. And I said, okay, makes sense. I mean, I had another customer that said, I was describing, all of the amenities that we're building here, Jim, and it seems well, the wife said, this seems like going to college without the classes. And I said, okay. And then he said, sounds more like a cruise ship without the ship to me. And I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah. So both are, I think both are, I mean, that's kind of the lifestyle. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
full-time lifestyle director. I mean, yeah.
You know what, when you think about, growing up and you heard about 55 plus or retirement community, this is not that, right? This is not your grandparents' retirement community. This is, all right, people might be 55 plus, but that's where the similarity ends. And this is, to your point, lifestyle. It's what do you want to do now that you have some time? And who do you want to do it
Exactly.
with?
Exactly.
And I think your point, Dawn, taking no prisoners, man. You're coming over on Saturday and we're going
Yeah.
to have fun.
Yeah, she's amazing. Still a good friend of ours, and you're
Yeah.
exactly right. Jim, people ask about the misconception, and I've got a theory. I don't know if it's true or not, or if I don't, but it seems to be proving out. It used to be, if you lived in the upper Midwest or Northeast or wherever you were, anywhere where it gets cold, what would happen? The life cycle is something like this: you raise your kids. They go off to college. You work until you're 65. You retire. You move to Florida. That's what you. That's the life cycle. Now, after COVID, with so many people being remote and that sort of thing, now the kids graduate from high school. They move to college. Parents are saying, "Hey, I can work remote. You get a different job. Let's
Right.
go now." So we're seeing a different. People that are moving down here, it's just a younger and younger generation that are
Mhm.
moving down here. They're moving earlier. They're moving 10 to 15 years
Yes.
earlier. They just don't want to. They don't want to wait that 10 to 15 years to hit 65. They want to start enjoying that lifestyle now.
Right. And so,
Yeah,
where is the community located
sure.
within the Sarasota Manatee area?
Absolutely. So we're essentially we're about a mile and a half south of State Road 64, about 3 miles north of State Road 70 on Burnside Boulevard. And reason
All
we
right.
chose this piece of ground, Jim, is a couple of things. It's how easy it is to get around from this location. So Bournside's 2 lanes north, 2 lanes south. 44th Avenue is our northern property border. Rangeland is our south
Mhm.
property border. Both of those are 2 lanes east, 2 lanes west, and 44th actually now takes you right across I-75 without on ramps. You can be out to Cortez in about 25, 30 minutes.
Right.
And there's 8 Publix grocery stores in Lakewood Ranch now. The closest one just opened up. I mean, 7 wasn't enough, Jim. So they
Right.
just
Right.
opened one 2 miles north and 2 miles west of here. So
Yes. Yes.
uh, it's a nice one. I had an
Yeah. I think
opportunity.
the location. Yeah, the location's fabulous. I think we're east of the interstate. So if you want waterfront property, this is not it. But you
Oh,
have everything else going for you. You can hit anywhere in Lakewood Ranch within a very short order.
exactly.
SRQ, Sarasota Airport, TPA, Tampa Airport, under an hour to both, probably
Exactly.
35, 40 minutes maybe, depending on traffic.
30
So
to
both make
SRQ.
travel
Yeah.
really easy.
Yeah.
And you're right, 44 takes you all the way out. You can get all the way out to the barrier islands and the beaches within 30, 40 minutes.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is location, and you're not surrounded by a bunch of stuff. So it does feel kind of private.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited about right down the road on Rangeland, or a mile and a half down the road is the brand new public library. But then also the
Hmm.
and athletic complex, the Sarasota Paradise soccer teams, that's their home field, is right
Right.
down the road. They just approved this. Well, the Olympics, the 50-meter swimming pool, they're trying to attract the Olympic
Hmm.
field trials here. And then, of course, they just approved that hockey arena. It sounds like it's four
Right. I
sheets
saw
of
that.
ice, $1 million or something that they're spending. So just the hub of all things interesting. And we've found a lot of people in the wintertime love to go to the polo grounds as well. I mean, where else can you see
Hmm.
polo matches 15 minutes from your house? I mean, it just
Right.
doesn't happen.
Right, right. And then you add in the other Mayaca Park and Lake Manatee and the other things that are going on. Fort Hammer Park's going in there soon and the waterways out. So you do have access literally to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people as well, Jim, when our people that walk into our sales center, one of the first things they're asking about is healthcare in this area. And so the
Hmm.
Lakewood, well, first we have fire and rescue 2 miles down the road. So that's a nice piece right there on the intersection of Bourneside and State Road 70. But then also you've got the Lakewood Ranch Medical Center, which is just about probably a 12 to 15 minute drive from here. They've got 180 beds. They can do shoulder, knee replacements, things like that, throw in pacemakers, of course. So having that healthcare and orthopedics down the road on State Road 64, I've got a realtor I was working with yesterday. She's having an MRI done right on, I didn't know they're doing it right in university. So, so a lot of great medical, options in the area as well.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the lifestyle and why people would want to live there. Let's talk about some of the options they have. How many homes are going to be built and where are we in that development process?
Sure. So we're permitted, Jim, for up to 1,300 homes. I think we're going to come in a few short of that, probably been at 12 and a half to 1,260, maybe something close to that. We've got 4 different series of homes here. We've got the attached villas that are normally just shy of 400,000 to about 440. We've got the single family. We've got 3 series of the single family detached. Again, 14 to 1,600 square feet in our smallest series. Those are all in between 475 and 5.25. You can put a pool on there for 65,000. And we're doing the pools with the bill. A lot of people, a lot of builders aren't doing that, and they just don't want to monkey it up and mess with that. We do it with the build. So if you are getting a mortgage, you can go in the mortgage, but also you don't have to be a general contractor after the fact. And that's something that scares a lot of people, and nobody wants to do that. That's not we pay people to do that. So,
that's not part of the lifestyle.
It's not part of the lifestyle, Jim. Then the second series of single family is just shy of 1,700 square feet, up to about 21. You can throw a loft on one of our floor plans, and that series brings it up to about 3,000 square feet. Anywhere from 2 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms in that series, and from 2 baths all the way up to 4 baths in that series. Those are always, falling probably in the low 6s to the low 7s, depending on what you do for options and the lot you choose. And then you throw a pool on that, of course, about another 70,000. And the largest series of homes are anywhere just 2,300 up to about 1,000 square feet. They're usually in the 9 range up. We've got homes that are selling $1.5 million plus in this neighborhood. You talked about where we're at in the we officially opened on February 1st of 2025. We had over 1,000 people at our grand opening. And for the guy that ordered the food that was planning on about 300, you better believe I was sending people to Publix to buy everything they had. So yeah, we ran out of food about 45 minutes into our 3-hour grand opening. So it was a fun time. But we've sold, we're right around 220 or 225 houses at this point, closed about 165. So we probably got, I would bet we've got 275 plus people living here. Most are 2 people in the house. A lot of singles as well. There's a good share of singles that are living here as well. And but all enjoying. We got temporary amenities that are built. So every morning when I get in, I usually get in here about 8:30, and the pickleball courts have been going. We've got 3 temporary courts here. There's a temporary lifestyle house, so the lifestyle director is already working. In fact, I was just out on the golf cart showing some people around, and ran into the lifestyle director, and she's honking her horn on the golf cart. I said, "What's going on?" So I stopped, and she said, "We're handing out popsicles today." So it's just fun. So they're going up and down the road, beeping their horn. People are coming out, they're eating popsicles. This is what we do here. This is the college without the classes part of the deal.
That's a good time. So what features come standard that might surprise buyers?
Sure. So going into it, the biggest thing is, going back. The hurricane windows are standard. The tile roofs are standard.
And I think those are huge.
Huge things. Paver driveways, paver lanais, screened in lanais. So there's a lot of builders won't screen in that lanai, or they're going to pour a slab back there. There's only, in my lifetime of growing up in my parents' lumberyard and seeing a lot of homes and a lot of basements and things like that. There's two kinds of concrete. The concrete that's cracked and the concrete that's going to crack. So having that paver lanai is just going to it ebbs and flows better, and it just stays looking nice longer. But biggest thing that people are surprised at, answer your question, Jim, as far as what's standard is, we do include the fridge and the washer and dryer. I mean, you
Okay.
can come in and literally buy a house from us. The base price, we still put it. I have to find a lot for you, but you don't have to upgrade
Right.
this at all. So you don't, it's not okay. Base price is $499. Do I have to spend another $100,000 in design options
Right.
to move into this house so I can actually, lay my head down and make a meal for my family? And the answer is no. I mean, this is a complete house. I mean, tile throughout the house, with the exception of in the bathroom, or excuse me, in the bedrooms and in the flexor area. That's carpet. And a lot of people are choosing
Yeah.
to go into our design studio, and they do want to personalize their home. We don't say customize, because we don't move
Right.
walls around,
Right.
things like that, but personalize the house. So if you wanted to run tile throughout the house, you certainly can do that. If you want to put luxury vinyl plank in the house, you certainly can do that, or engineered hardwood. Cabinets, soft closed doors and drawers are options. Stainless appliances are standard. Quartz countertops are standard, but we've probably got 35 different quartz countertops to choose from, varying degrees on the levels on the quartz. And then same thing on the cabinets. I think there's 5 series of different cabinets, and different faces, different colors. You can make the island a different color. So backsplashes, it's probably 35, 40 different backsplashes to choose from. And so we don't want this community to look cookie cutter, Jim. So got many different
So
elements.
you can walk away. So you can walk away feeling that your stamp is on it. Right. So it's
Exactly.
personalized to your touch.
Good way to put it.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit. You mentioned about all and I mean, it's a crazy amount of amenities, but let's talk about them. You talked about the pool, multiple pickleball courts that are covered, and let's just go run through the whole gamut again of what's there.
Absolutely. So starting off outside, so 12 pickleball courts, 8 of which are covered. And then out in front of the covered pickleball, we've got what we're calling our courtside Catalina pavilion. Okay. And so if I'm not a pickleball player, but my friends are, my wife is, or some combination, or maybe I'm nursing a rotator cuff because I got a little too anxious one day or something like that, I can still go over and hang out, because in that pickleball pavilion, Jim, there's going to be air-conditioned bathrooms, a pro shop, but also outdoor pool tables, ping pong, and foosball. So lots of things to do just in that area, other than just play pickleball.
Right.
So you can still be part of the group. That's the thing. We hear golf communities, if you're not a golfer, you don't participate. Well, we didn't want to have that situation happen. I mean, there's a lot of pickleball here, of course. That's a big deal, but we didn't want people left out if they're not playing pickleball. Excuse me. 5 tennis, our true surface, 4 bocce ball. So the sport courts will all open to the residents, Jim, in September of this year. Okay, so they're imminent now. The tennis courts have been painted. The bocce ball courts have been painted. We're waiting on the water to get put into the pavilion, so that we can lay the pavers and do the final touches on that. So the amenity team is telling us September for an opening in the courtside at all the sport courts. In the clubhouse, and again, this clubhouse is just second to none. 37,000 square feet under roof, 26,000 square feet air conditioned, coming around. So I always try and go left to right, so I don't. Otherwise, I'm going to miss something. So we got a bar restaurant, of course, and there's one kitchen, Jim. It's kind of like having 2 restaurants, because the inside is a little more formal, that sit down kind of that feel. You just want to go, just have a little more upscale. It's not a tiki bar type feel. But then outside, you get the same food, but it is more that outside Florida tiki bar feel.
Right.
We want to have that
casual ambiance.
Exactly. Covered outdoor seating was a big thing that we missed in a former community that we did. So something that we insisted on having on this one. So it'll be covered outdoor seating. And of course, you'll have the umbrella seating as well. The pool is a resort style pool in lanes. There's a resistance pool. So if you're nursing maybe had a hip replacement or knee replacement, or just want to swim against the water, you can do that in the resistance pool. And of course, there's a spa as well. Inside, the ballroom seats about 200 to 250 people, depending on the configuration. And there's going to be a permanent stage and a permanent dance floor in there, dressing rooms, the comedians, musicians, whoever's going to be performing in there. And then you've got a Wi-Fi cafe. You've got a cafe for morning coffee to meet your friends, just kind of hang out. There's a flex room for cards and things like that. Lifestyle director's office is in there, and you've got the free-to-play classic arcade. So if you're a pinball wizard or love Miss Pac-Man, and you've set the record every place you've ever been, you can leave your quarters at home, come play, challenge your friends. And there's a golf simulator in there as well. So if you ever want to play Pebble Beach or, challenge those that are on TV that, that US Open, last weekend, you want to play against those guys, same course, pull it up on the simulator and see, try your hand at that. Then the gym here. So talking about fitness, okay. Gym is just shy of 3,200 square feet. So you'll have kettlebells and dumbbells and Smith machines and rowing machines and stair steppers, ellipticals, cable fly machines, really everything. I mean, there's no reason to not be in shape if you're living at Del Webb, Catalina, because you've got all the amenities are right there. There is a dedicated art studio. So thinking about, if there's drawing classes or painting classes or sip and paint classes, which are kind of fun, of course. And then you've also got the dedicated fitness studio with a ballet bar. So yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, things like that. And then we've got in our wellness center, there are infrared saunas. So there's 2 infrared saunas that you're going to be able to use. And we've got the locker rooms as well. So, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And every time the contractor invites me in periodically just to snap a few photos and send to my boss. And Jim, every time I walk in there, I just keep saying, I can't believe this place. I just can't believe this place. It's amazing.
It sounds like we need to make the days longer so you can do everything.
Exactly. Yeah. That summer solstice would, every day of the year would have been good.
Right. So let's talk then about the HOA and CDD fees. What are they and what do they cover?
Great question. So first we'll talk about the HOA, because and that's a question I get almost right away every time I talk to people, because I tell them about all the things that are coming to Del Webb, Catalina. 12.5 miles of trails in here, Jim. I mean, that's something I forgot to mention. 100-foot boardwalk across our main preserve. So so easiest, I always tell people, just figure $400 a month. That's the simplest way to figure it. They're anywhere from, I've got them right here. I'm like $383 to $422. So figure $400 a month. $383 in the smallest homes, $422 in the largest homes.
Right.
What it's going to cover is landscape maintenance. Okay, so mowing, trimming, blowing, irrigation, the irrigation system itself. So if you come outside and there's a sprinkler on the fritz or something shooting straight up in the air, you just put in a ticket. They come and fix it at their expense. Okay. It's going to cover the lifestyle director's salary, the HOA director's salary, their staff. We have 3 entrances here at Catalina. There's one going to be off 44th Avenue. That one's not open yet because that's in phase 3. There's one on Rangeland, and that's just a controlled structure. Okay, so it's going to be controlled in your car. And that one is open currently. And then the main entrance off Bourneside, and that one's going to be staffed 7 in the morning till 7 at night, 7 days a week. And people ask, okay, how do I get in here? How do people get in after hours? So you've got an app. It's an Invera app, and you just put down whoever you want to have permanent access. They pull in. If the attendant is there, they hand you their driver's license. They're on the list. In they go. If it's after hours, they just put that driver's license in a little camera. They see it. It pops up. You drive in. So very easy that way. But the other thing it covers is internet, cable, modem, and router as well. And the download speed is 1 gig. The upload speed is 1 gig, and it's about 165 to 20 channels. It is through Spectrum, and so you can pay to go faster if you want, up to 7 gigs. I haven't had to do that yet. I've got a couple of friends here that are working from home, and they say it's plenty fast for us. Good service. We haven't had any interruptions, so pretty happy with that. On the villas now, so specifically on the attached units, okay, the $383 that they're paying per month is going to also cover. It's going to cover all those things we talked about, full use of the clubhouse and everything, just like everybody else. but it's also going to cover, we're going to paint the outside of that building every 10 to 12 years as needed. And then also it's going to cover the termite protection. Okay. And then it's also going to cover pressure washing the roof for algae and that sort of thing as needed. Usually that's every 4 to 6 years. Okay. So on the villas, they'll do that maintenance. On the single family homes, that maintenance is on the homeowner.
Okay. And then really last question I have is how long is a building process typically taking? So inventory homes, you have inventory homes ready to go, some spec homes, and then build from scratch. What are we seeing?
Sure. So we've always got quick move-ins. I mean, I've got quick, so if somebody said, I've got a home I sold 2 days ago, a guy called up moving from Texas, said, Dan, I sold my house. I got to be out of here on the 24th of July.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And so I said, yeah, we got I hopped on a Teams call with him or FaceTime. He said, yep, that's the one I want. And so I sent him the contract via DocuSign. He's moving in. The closing date, I think, is the 22nd or so of July. So he's going to close on this before he's got to be out of that one. Building from scratch. We're telling people 5 to 5.5 months realistically. Our contract window
That's not crazy.
No, our contract window is 5 to 7, but we're hitting the front end of that window. So if you came in today, Jim, and said, hey, I want to sign a contract today, you'll close. If I was betting, I mean, the window's I think it's November 18th through January 18th, but I would say you're closed right around Thanksgiving there.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason
so really you have it for anybody, right? So if you need a house now, you've got one. They can take from your selection if you really want to pick and choose.
Yep.
6 months, give or take.
Absolutely. And the other thing, so one other piece that, we're seeing a big influx of people. I mean, we're having one of our best Junes that by comparison, I mean, obviously we've only been open one other June, but we're off the charts right now because people are with the proposed tax savings,
right?
How that's going to work, as long as you're a resident by January 1st or December 31st, you're going to participate. Otherwise, you've got a waiting period. So we're seeing a big uptick in people that want to get in that house this year. So we're going to sell probably 22 to 24 homes this month. And our numbers, the number that we're charged with selling is 14. So, I mean, we're going to go way over that number. But the other thing is sometimes people will say, I don't want this house until after the first of the year because of tax implications or something like that. And so I can always delay the start of the house, Jim, 90 days. Okay. So if I'm telling you that window's November 18th and you said, Dan, I can't have that house till 1st of February, you can still take advantage of everything that's going on with our incentives going on right now. Get the home site that you want before somebody else grabs it. We just put you in the hopper. You still go through, pick everything, get your price locked in. Price doesn't go up with us. There's no escalator clauses. Even during COVID, Jim, when we thought we were building homes in 5-6 months and it took 18 months to build a house, those expenses stayed on the builder. We never passed 1 cent on to one of the homeowners that was on the contract with us. So we honored every one of those contracts. Okay. So that's another thing. So we can always delay the start if that would help somebody out. Okay.
Right. And so you said earlier, you're about a quarter to a third of the way built through. What do you see as the timeline to close out?
Yeah. So we
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so we've got 1,300 homes. We sold about 225. So we're about 20. We're closing in on 20%.
Yeah, about a fifth.
About a fifth. So we assume we're going to be here. I think I'm going to be in this office another 5 years or so. That's the feeling. We're kind of built from a construction standpoint and a staffing in the office, standpoint, the warranty team, et cetera, et cetera. We're built to sell about 20 a month, somewhere between 18 and 22. That's kind of our sweet spot. Yep.
Fantastic. Dan, I'm so excited about what you were talking about. I'm ready to move out there now. Whether the wife lets me, we'll see. But maybe I get her into pickleball. Yeah. What else would you like to say about the community and what's going on out there as we wrap this up?
I would say, the biggest reason, again, going back to your earlier comment we were talking about earlier, is the 55 plus isn't that 1 foot in the grave anymore that it was 12, 15 years ago. This is an easy transition into retirement, you know, and a lot of people, I would bet, if I was to guess, 25% of the people that I've sold homes to, one of the spouses, if not both, are still working. Okay. So, but they are ready to start that Florida lifestyle. They want to be around people that are at the same stage in their lives. You know, not necessarily the same age, but the same stage. You know,
Right.
they're recent empty nesters. They're still in the workforce. They want to be active. And that's really what's ringing true to people that are walking in the door here. So that's, if I could leave you with one thing and leave your audience with one thing, come walk into the community, check it out. The people you're going to see moving around are going to look like you.
Fantastic. Well, Dan, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on and sharing. We'll have all your contact information and information about Catalina in the show notes. And thank you.
Jim, I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to doing a lot of business with you and your firm.